Hello friends, welcome back to your computer organization classes. So we were discussing about the addressing modes in the previous classes, and to move ahead from the previous classes, I hope so you have seen my all the previous 4 video lectures which form the basics of this next video lecture, which is 5th video lecture. So I expect you to view all the previous 4 video lectures. If you have any doubts, any queries at any time, you can WhatsApp me or call me on this number. You can email me as well, or you can drop an message in the chat box. No issues. Okay. So to moving ahead, friends, we had started with your addressing modes, and we have reached a level wherein we have covered most of your addressing modes. We are left with one more class now. So we tried to address these 3 questions. I'm just giving you a small recap of all the previous 4 videos, but in all the previous 4 videos we have discussed very thoroughly what all we had discussed, and what all we had touched upon, what are the various addressing modes and all those things. Yeah, so we touched upon these 4 very important questions in the first video lecture. Then we move ahead and tried to check upon the major important 3 addressing modes, which are nothing but your register addressing mode, which involves 2 registers. Next is absolute addressing mode or direct addressing mode, which involves an memory location. Next is immediate addressing mode, which involves an immediate number. So moving ahead from this, we move to your indirect addressing mode, which is very much different, and I request you to view all the previous lectures to understand this indirect addressing mode. It is very important if you to understand this indirect addressing mode, and I have given a very live example, an analogy which you can easily correlate with your addressing modes. So I request you to view the previous lecture, that is 4th and 3rd lecture, which are very much important. So here in indirect addressing mode, the first we saw was you using your pointers, and here we saw that how it is done with the help of the register as well as with the memory address. So I will not be going in much detail here now. So please view the previous videos. And moving ahead, the next very important thing we saw was how this indirect addressing mode works. This is what we have seen in the previous lecture. We also seen this example, that is through a general purpose register as well as through a memory location. We also saw an example here wherein we tried to add the numbers, and we also saw that each number would carry somewhere around 4 bytes and all those things. Yeah. So moving ahead, today's class is very important because here we will be discussing the next type of addressing mode, which is called as indexed addressing mode. This is another part in your indirect addressing mode, which is called as indexed addressing modes. Here we speak of arrays. In the previous class we spoke of pointers. Today we'll speak of arrays. So in arrays, what would happen is, it is a slightly modified version of your indirect addressing mode. Here we come across a very important thing and very important address called as EA, which stands for effective address. So the effective address is generated by adding a constant value to the register. Remember friends, the effective address is generated by adding a constant value to the register. So that means what now? Say for example, if I write like this x of ri, say I write like this x of ri, then this effective address is nothing but it is the register ri itself plus the constant value, which is x. So therefore it is x, that is the effective address is equal to the contents of the register, that is in square bracket ri, and the constant. The constant is nothing but your x. So remember friends, this ri is called as an index register. Whatever your ri you can see here, it is called as an index register. So this is your indexed register. Okay, so I'm writing here, this is nothing but your indexed register, which is very much essential to do your arrays addressing modes. Okay, now friends, to move ahead, the constant xi, whatever you can see here, the constant xi, it could be 2 things. It could be either an offset or it could be a base address. So we come across 2 important concepts here. It could be an offset or it becomes your base address. So this x value. Now we'll see in the next slide what is this base address and what is this offset. Okay, now to move ahead with the next very important thing, we have two types here. One is base with index and the other one is base without index. So to understand that, say for example, if we write something like this, that is in the bracket ri comma rj, then the effective address would be the contents of ri plus rj, that is the resistor ri plus rj. So here what happened now, it is ri plus x, but here what it is the two resistors, which is ri plus rj. Okay, now the next one is with index and offset. So here we have both the things. Here we had only index, now we have only index. Okay friends, here what we have both index as well as the offset. Okay, so what is happening then now, it is nothing but your ri plus your next thing is rj plus as well as your index x. Right friends, so that means what is happening here, it has both the things, one is offset and another one is index. So it's an extension of this previous thing. Here we had what, only the index, here we have what now, both index and offset. So this becomes very important friends, that is we have totally three types in your arrays. One is only index, wherein we have a ri and your constant x. One is base with index, wherein we have both the resistors. The next one is index as well as offset, so therefore we have ri rj plus x. So moving ahead, so when we try to plot upon whatever we are speaking now, so you can observe here friends, load is one of the commands, like how we have move or copy. Similar to that, we have a load command. So load r2 comma 20 r5. So what it means now, it is meaning nothing but it is we will be loading, that is r2 will be loaded with 20 r5. What is 20? What is the 20 r5 then? So here your effective address, that is EA, will be equal to nothing but 20 plus your resistor, which is R5. Your 20 plus R5. So that is what is the meaning of your load to R2 comma 20 R5. It means that the effective address will be 20 plus R5, which will be loaded inside your R2. So this will be loaded inside your R2. So that means you can observe here we are using your offset as a constant. Whatever this constant 20, what is the constant value we have here? The constant value we have here is 20, right? So the constant value is nothing but the offset. So if you want to try to understand this, R5 is this resistor, right? R5 is at some memory location 1000 and plus 20. After adding 20 to this R5, we will be getting our next memory location, which is 1020, and inside this 1020 we have our operands. So I hope this is clear friends. What is happening here then? This 20 plus R5, R5 is at memory location 1000. Then when you add 20 to it, it means that you will be getting the next operand, wherein we have our operands. Is that clear? We are using offset in our load instruction. In our instruction, you just remember that we are using offset, which is 20, which is constant in our instruction. The instruction here was what now? Your load. Okay, we'll go to this example now. In this example, please observe friends, what is happening now? Come to here, R2 comma 1000 R5. So we'll try to plot upon our effective address. We'll try to find our effective address, right? So what is effective address now? Very simple. I hope by now you might have got the effective address. It is nothing but 1000, right? 1000 plus your resistor R5. 1000 plus your resistor R5. Sorry for the not so clear handwriting. I hope you understand. I have been told in the previous lecture as well. Please try to cooperate with me because I am writing this with the help of the mouse. Okay, so we'll get back to the subject. So what is happening here now? It is 1000 R5. It means that the effective address is 1000 plus R5. So what we are doing now? We are loading R2 with 1000 R5. So where is R5? R5 here, it has been exchanged. That's all. What is R5? R5 again is here at the same memory location where it is in the 1000 memory location. It is again in the 1000. See, observe here. R5 where we have in the 1000 memory location. Where R5 we have here, it is again in the 1000 memory location, right? Only small changes. What now? Here it has been loaded with 20. Here it has been loaded with 20. Whereas here it has been loaded at what now? 1000. Why? Because in the instruction we have already loaded with the offset. So that's why we are given here it's with the offset. But here in the instruction what we are given? Here in the instruction we are given the memory location. So therefore the offset is where now? In the index register. So this is my index register R5. Inside this index register R5 we have the offset, which is nothing but your 20. I hope this is clear. So what is happening here now? Again the same operation is happening. It will jump to R5, right? It will find out what is the offset, what value it has to be added. Then what it will do? It will add the offset. After adding the offset, it will move to this location, which is 1020, and it will fetch the operand. So only small change is what now? Here in this instruction, we are giving the memory location, which is 1000. Here in this, what we are doing? We are giving the offset. That's all. I hope this is clear, friends. So if this diagram is clear, the rest of the things would be very easy. And this is the small change in your indexed addressing mode, which is another type of indirect addressing mode. Okay. So to make it more clear, we have plotted a small diagram here. You can see the effective address is nothing but it is index register plus relative address. So what is index register now? Index register, there it was R5 plus relative address. So relative address we have your nothing but 2. So when you add them, it is going to 102. So when it reaches 102, inside 102 what you have? You have an operand which is 110A, right? So now this, whatever the number you have here, XR, it could be both negative or positive. That is, it could be a signed number or it could be a unsigned number. I hope the signed number and unsigned numbers are clear, which has been already covered in your module number 1. Okay. Now, this XR, whatever you are seeing here, it is very much helpful in the next upcoming classes. You will be coming across two important the notations, you can say, or two important instructions or two important addressing modes, which are called as auto increment and auto decrement. Auto increment means what now? The increment would be auto. You will set some rules for the auto increment. Auto is nothing but automatically getting incremented, and based on those rules it will be getting incremented, and we'll be setting some rules for decrement. Based on those rules it will be getting decremented. That's all. Okay, friends. So I hope this is clear. This diagram is clear. If you want, I will just give you a small recap here itself so that it's very much clear. So what is happening? XR is 2, AR is 100. Both would get added up. XR and AR are nothing but your index register and relative address, which will be going to 102. It will fetch the operand from there and you will get the answer. So these two are nothing but minor things. We are just trying to tell you that it could be a signed or unsigned number and where it is helpful. Now, to understand this addressing mode, which is indexed addressing mode, in much detail, I would like to take upon a small example, right? A programming example. Please concentrate on these parts of the slides, very much important. So here, friends, what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to write a program. So please observe, we'll be trying to write a program. This program will compute the sum of test scores of all the students. So it will be calculating the sum of scores, which is your IAs you can take for example, of all the students in the test. In a particular test, it will compute the test scores. Okay. So say for example, you have test 1, test 2 and test 3, and what it will do now, it will calculate the test sum. These 3 test sum it will calculate and it will give you the answer and store the corresponding sums in the memory. Remember, in the memory. So what we are doing, friends, 3 tests are there, test 1, test 2 and test 3. We will add these 3 tests, that is, we'll compute the sum of these 3 tests, and whatever the addition value will be getting, that will be storing in one of the registers. Okay. So friends, in order to do this, we will be going through a small program, right? So this is my small program. One second, friends. Yeah. So this is my small program. Please concentrate, friends. Very important program. If you understand this, it would be very much helpful for you to write in exam. And most of the times they ask this in most of the exams. That means such type of programs they will ask. I am not assuring that the same program will come. Okay. So let us start. So the first thing, move, MOV move n comma R4. So that means what we are doing now, we are moving the contents of n into a register R4. We are moving the contents of n into a register R4. Say n could be anything. That is how many values you want to add. Like say for example, here the n would be 3. Here the n is 3. We are keeping it 3 because we want to add your 3 locations. That is 3 tests. Okay. Next thing, we'll be moving the list. Whatever the list values we have, the values of list will be moved into your register R0. Okay. So what we are doing here now, whatever the whole list is there, it will store the starting address of this list. So I am just writing here SA so that it will be helpful for you to understand. It will be storing the starting address, SA starting address of the list into this R1, so that from R1 it goes on reading. So if I want to read a list, I should know the first address where it is having. So this first address, whatever is there of the list, this is stored in a register R0. This is stored in a register R0. Okay. Next, what is the next thing now? We will be doing our operations in R1, R2 and R3. That's why we are clearing it with the numbers 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Right. Next, what we have done, we will be adding. So addition of test1 marks of one student. Whatever the R0 value will be there, that R0 value will be added with your R1 value. Okay. Now why this 4, friends? Because if you observe this previous slide, list plus 4, that means it is 4 bytes. Each value it is taking 4 bytes. You can see plus 4, plus 8, 12 and 16. So that's why what we are doing here now, we are doing here 4 R0. I hope you understood this. What the meaning of this 4 R0? We have just now discussed the meaning of this. It is nothing but your effective address, which is EA. The effective address EA will be equal to nothing but 4 plus your R0. 4 plus R0. Right? So the same way it would be 8 plus R0. Why 8 plus R0? Because after 4 bytes, you have the next number. Then that next number will be added with your R2 and will be stored inside R2. And that will be stored inside R2. Similarly, 12 R0, R3. That means what happened now? Again, after 4 memory locations, what is happening here? After plus 4 memory locations, whatever is there, that will be fetched and will be added with the contents of R3, and that will be stored inside R3. Similarly, the last one is what now? Add hash 16 R0. Why this, friends? Add hash 16 R0. Very simple. Why? Because we have considered the first test, the second test and the third test. So this is of this, all details are of one student. Next, we want to do the same thing for the next student. So that's why it is 16 R0. And decrement R4 is why now? Decrement R4 is nothing but R4 has your value, which is 3 students, say. So it would be decremented by 1. So that means 1 student is done, 2 are remaining. And it will branch back here and it will continue the same thing. Finally, it will move R1 into sum 1, R2 into sum 2 and R3 into sum 3. It means that the first sum, the second sum and the third sum, and it will end. Very simple program, friends. Please try to go through this once again. If you have any problems, any doubts, you can ask me. No issues in that. Okay. So this is one thing, friends. The next thing we need to do is we need to have to look upon your relative addressing mode, which I'll be looking in the next class. Thank you for attending, and please ask if you have any doubts. I'll be always there. Thank you. We'll meet again in the next